Clicking buttons.
The content of this meeting is being sent to YouTube.
Yes. Oh, no, I don't want that. Clicking buttons. Oh, hello. We are live. So let us record. Hello, everybody. We are now live on our Holistic Health Happy Hour, episode 19. So welcome, welcome. It's kind of an impromptu visit here. So here we are. So we are going to chat about the first quarter moon. But in the meantime, I'm Julie Sherwood, Your Best Hopes Wellness Coaching, yourbesthopeswc.com, where you can find out all about me and all the services I have. It'll be in the link down below, along with my co-host, Ms. Maria.
I am Maria Schumacher, also known as Vian. Venus-13.com is my website, and Vian at Venus-13 is
How we can contact
yeah,
you.
is how you can it was how you can contact me is words that weren't coming out of my mouth, but yeah.
We're both a little fuzzy today, so just go with the flow.
Yeah, sorry, man, forgive us. We got Plutoed today. I think that Moon on Pluto opposite Mars right now is just sort of no joke. And there's this certain, yeah, man, I kind of want to just, yeah. So
It's all good.
we thought it'd be a great time to go live so that we make
Yeah.
fools of ourselves trying to find words, but here we are.
So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we've kind of shifted our plan. For those who are just catching up with us, we were doing the new moon, full moon, but a lot of people out there already do that. So, and they're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful constellational 13 sign astrologers in our little cohort out there. And so we thought, let's do something a little different. Let's hit the counterpoints. So we're doing the first quarter and third quarter phases of the moon, so we can talk about the energies that come with the square aspect between the moon and the sun.
Yep.
Today we're talking about our first quarter moon that just is going to come up here after we just had a new moon on the cusp of Virgo Libra. So take it away, my dear friend. What you looking at here?
All right, so here we have the chart for just after midnight tomorrow. So it says November 9th, but really it's going to be just after midnight tomorrow. When moon and sun perfect their square. Sun square moon are always a little tough in the month. And we have two of them every month, right? One after the new moon and one after the full moon, right? So there it is. This one is a separating square, which means that the moon and sun are moving away from one another, but the moon is growing. So it's interesting how those energies counterpoint. Sun is in Libra and moon is in Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, what we get from moon square Sundays all the time, no matter where the sun and moon are, is a challenge between the inner self and the outer self. How well is your inner self matching what shows on the outside?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or integrated with what shows on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is not now, and again, you may choose not to show aspects of yourself that are on your inside. You may choose to keep that private. And that's a form of integration. But as long as you know what it is, like if you think that, I think that I'm a lion and on the inside you're a squirrel, we've got a bit of a problem. Not that there's anything wrong with lions or squirrels. It's just that I'm energetically at odds with myself. And that's how it can feel, right? Mm-hmm. So Moon Square Sundays, twice a month, are great times to sort of do a self-check. How am I doing? How am I doing with integrating myself with myself? How am I doing on my mission for the month? How am I feeling like I'm showing up in the world? What challenges am I getting today?
And I think the key word in that is doing. because with these quarter moons there's a challenge to move into something, right? So you have that new moon, which is the start of the cycle. It kind of sets the energy for the next 28, 29 days, give or take. And so now that first quarter moon brings in that energy of, okay, what are you doing to move into the energy that that new moon brought? It's
Mm-hmm.
not a complacent energy. It really is. That's where the challenge is. It's, are you doing something with this? It doesn't mean you have to go run out with, like a steam engine, but it's even just taking some sort of movement, whether it be mental movement, physical movement, action, towards something where you look at that energy in a way that it can get ready for the full moon culmination. It's again, it's not a sit back, complacent energy, or it's going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this case, speaking of, or it's going to happen for you, in this case, today the moon crossed Pluto. In fact, as we speak, the moon is with Pluto, right? They're right now they're still really close. So by the time we get to tomorrow or this energy, um, the moon will have had a nice fat dose of Pluto, who is opposite Mars. And that all is very much more movement. Like,
Hmm.
all right, what are you doing to actively transform yourself? What are you doing to notice your deep insides? Have you noticed how you feel about things, your deeply held beliefs?
Hmm.
And probably for the last couple of days, our deeply held beliefs have been in our faces, right? Like banana pie,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and collectively, because this is,
Collectively,
transits are collective. Yeah.
yes, yes. So very much so. We have had to have a look at our deepest beliefs and really get them shaken
Hmm.
by these transits. Okay. And so now again, now knowing this, you can kind of be like, okay, I get it. I get what just happened.
Hmm.
I get what just happened. Now moon gets into a square to the sun place where the sun will ask, all right, so then how are you integrating all that? How is that? How are you changed?
Yes, especially having
Or,
just crossed over Pluto.
yep, what now has changed for you? And moon being in Capricorn, where he is able to ground that emotion somewhat, is going to be better equipped to answer that question. Like, all right, God, I've made it through Sagittarius. And moon in Sagittarius can be an awful lot of fun. It really
Yes.
can be. But this time it was a bit of an ordeal. And culminating in crossing Pluto, where you've really had to come through that cauldron of self-examination, which is just fun for everybody.
Hmm.
But here
Hmm.
we are now in Capricorn, able to sort of sit back and say, all right, how am I doing?
Hmm. Well, and the moon in Capricorn, like we were saying in our green room chat, and we really should record those because we
Not this one, man. We were
get,
ever.
I mean, but we get some juicy nuggets. But the moon in Capricorn can really ground those emotions. Once you've come through that experience of the moon having just gone through Sagittarius and challenging our emotional connection to our belief systems as a collective,
Well said. Oh,
and crossing over the transformative energy of Pluto. Keeping in mind, Pluto just went direct not too long ago. So even though he's slow as freaking ass molasses, his momentum is now forward. It really has
yes.
started to move in that direction, saying, okay, guys, it is time. It is time. We're moving into this space. So it really does, once you've crossed over that, oh my God, my emotions are challenged and I got to transform all my belief system. And you get into that frenzy. And then the moon goes into Capricorn and says, okay, get your feet on the ground for a second.
Yep.
You just had your little, emotional explosion. That's okay. You needed to get it out.
Hmm.
Now, how can you create these foundational emotional insights that are supported by the sun being in Libra?
Hmm.
Balance, harmony, justice, fairness. You know, that sun can manifest its energy in a much better way if you let that moon do its thing in Capricorn. So, big one, big one. And
Yeah, yeah.
and we had, again, the sun was on the cusp of Virgo Libra on the new moon.
Mhm.
So there's a dual energy with Virgo Libra. You know, Virgo, the last few stars of Virgo of, okay, I'm getting ready to go into service to everybody and I want to make everything better and improve everything and get all the details and sift the junk from the salient good things and all of that. And I got
Mhm.
to do it in balance with everybody else. So there's
Well, yeah,
there's a real tug of war there in some ways too.
yeah. And stay in balance with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And be able to see more than one perspective,
Yes.
right? So I think that sun in Libra also has the benefit of not only being able to weigh multiple options, but being able to see multiple sides.
Yeah, the light is shined on it.
Or at the very least, because it's in that community minded space, it can see through your eyes a little bit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah. It has also, Sun, moved into opposition with Uranus, who is conjunct Algol right across. See? It's a very loose opposition,
Mm-hmm.
but there it is. This is important because that's where the full moon is going to be. Right on top of that.
Yep.
Conjunct
Yep.
Uranus and conjunct Algol. Full moon right there. So we're getting set up for that. So this square right now really is very important. And we're gonna feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be this feeling of, all right, how am I? Where am I at now? What am I standing on?
Mm-hmm.
What am I still standing on? And where's my next step?
Well, and also remembering good old Uranus, Uncle Dave, as you so affectionately call him.
Today,
He's in retrograde right now, so he's kind of just sitting back.
yep.
But he also represents revolution.
Hmm.
So the question becomes, how do we do that in a way that's in balance and in harmony and in, you know, an injustice and justice for all type of energy with that sun in Libra, but yet we were talking about this, and I keep using this metaphor of burning it all down to the ground like a wildfire so the new sprouts can come through. And I think Uranus is going to spark some of that,
I do too.
you
I
know.
want to, I think it's important to keep in mind too that it doesn't show up on this chart, but in a scant few hours from the time I ran this, the moon is going to be in T square to Uranus and the sun. So
Yes.
it's going to be that, okay, I'm going to have that challenge of integrating reintegrating my newly challenged belief system that I've just run through the cauldron of Pluto, that I've just come through Sagittarius, run through the emotional car wash of Pluto, fueled by Mars opposite, right? That just wants to pull out all the deepest, darkest secrets. Um, and now from a more grounded place of Capricorn, I'm going to be sort of moved from integrating to wanting to, I want to be steady and yet want to blow things up at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm square both of them. So my moon is challenging that energy of revolution and change and wanting to um make things better,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
want or just wanting things to be different. I
And Uranus
just
rules
want
the
things to be different.
collective,
Yeah,
you know, Aquarius, the collective. Yeah.
exactly. Aquarius everywhere. But also wanting to stay balanced, stay grounded,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So that's just a really interesting, trine. Again, that's going to happen mere hours from where I've run this chart. But, you've got Sun in Libra, Libra being balanced between self and others, with Uranus also having that sort of self and others conversation with his progressive self. And don't forget Algol.
Yeah.
Do not forget Algol in all of this. Part of that whole, I mean, it's just everywhere we look in this chart behind the scenes, there's a dark divine feminine really fueling this. Either the Liliths or Vesta or Algol or Eris or the divine feminine has her mark on this whole thing. And again, because the full moon is going to be right on her right now, I think it's important to talk again about Algol and Uranus.
Mhm.
And especially in light of this square, because we're square it right now. So what do you got to say about that, Jujubee? Oh
Uh,
yeah, Lilith and
oof.
Ophiuchus. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I wish I could remember when Uranus goes direct, but be that as it may. Elgol, the Medusa, the pissed off woman, um,
Who had her head cut off.
got her head cut off, right? So, and I think Uranus kind of hanging out in retrograde there is kind of going, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? When I get ready to go forward, you better be ready to respond to that. But don't go all out torching the world. You got to do this in a way where you find the retribution, you find justice, Sun in Libra, in a way that sets the stage for the future. And I think Venus, we talked about this, Venus is right on the galactic center.
Mhm.
And she's getting ready. She's also, I think, a marker of divine feminine energy
Yeah.
coming through the galactic center, the birth of it all.
Hmm.
And I think this is an opportunity to see it. You can take that dark, pissed off feminine energy, and how do you channel that in a way that it's assertive, confident, and brave, but not destructive.
That's just it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, Algol just wants her head back.
Yes.
I
Without the
just,
snakes.
yeah, I want my head connected to my body again. I want to be whole again.
Right.
I want to be sovereign again. Lilith just wants to be sovereign again. Vesta just wants to be free again. And how do we do that without needing to blow up the planet, right? How do we do that without needing to go into full on, Mars style
Right.
revolution?
Right.
You know, so here we go, Uranus. What kind of radical change can you cook up that gets us to where we ultimately want to go without having to burn everything down to get there?
Well, and I think too, it's something that just came through my thought process as you were talking is, and we don't want to do it the same way we've always done it. It's
That's it.
and that Pluto return hitting, and again, it's not always about just the US, but this is a remarkable time. We're going to get that Pluto return on the third hit because of retrograde at the end of this year.
Yeah,
So this is, I still think, because it's on that cusp of Sagittarius Capricorn, let's do this, but let's not keep doing it the same way. It's time to do it
exactly.
differently. Yes.
Revolution again, but maybe not revolution in the same way we did it before.
Right.
There,
Right.
where it's revolution through violence.
Right.
Can we do revolution through some other way? Maybe revolutionary allowance, revolutionary understanding. Maybe simply I don't
You
know.
know, and Mars being in Cancer will help that because Mars doesn't really like to, he's kind of held back a little bit in Cancer.
Hmm.
He's debilitated there. So it's all this fluid, emotional Cancer stuff, and he's just wanting to go. And I think that gives us that pause for the warrior to say, okay, wait a minute. Am I acting from the heart, Cancer? Am I
Hmm.
acting in a way where I remember my ancestry, I remember where my roots are, and harness out of that what is positive for that change? I think we've forgotten a lot of that.
Well, and he's also digging up secrets.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if I'm going to be here and not really be able to get all fiery,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go dig in.
Yeah.
I'm going to go dig in for those secrets. I'm going to find every landmine, every emotional landmine. I'm going to find every emotional tripwire. I'm going to open every trunk that you think you have a lock on
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm going to do. So, I mean, and especially opposite Pluto right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a recipe for secrets coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you think you've buried and things that the collective is trying to
Right.
deny.
Right. And I think one of them, and this kind of goes with holistic health happy hour, is, we're going to be moving into Mercury going into his shadow period for retrograde, and he's hanging out right here in Scorpio. So one aspect of Mercury is Mercury rules health.
Yep.
And, I get on my little soapbox here about our health system is broken. It's a sick care system.
Yep.
We spend the greatest amount of money taking care of our people, and we're one of the sickest countries in the world.
Yep.
So I do believe that this is an opportunity for revolution, to uncover the secrets of the things that have made us so sick. Our food systems have been permeated, all on and on and on. I mean, I could go
Right.
ad nauseum, but the
Yes.
gist of it is, being in Scorpio, it's time to unearth those secrets. Mars is going to help us with that
Mm-hmm.
and transform it. And the retrograde period with Mercury will give us some time to really dig that up
Yeah.
for the benefit of all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the people making the money off of us being sick, but for us to be healthy again. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stuff is starting to come out about that. Mercury is what else? Communication,
Yep.
information, the dark information, the hidden information, the shadow information,
Mm-hmm.
the poison in our foods. It's all coming to light now. And
Well,
people are
Uranus
saying,
is too. You know,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Uranus in Taurus with Algol also sort of speaks to poisons.
yes, yes, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
And actually the other thing that's coming to my mind too is, Mercury being the information seeker, especially when, he's in Gemini, he wants all the details, all the data. This is
Yeah.
also a prompting for us to gather our own information for our own well-being and start to question. When's the last time you read the ingredients on a box and half the words you didn't know, but you still ate it anyway? It's like, wait a minute. I'm gonna ask, is that really for my best good? Maybe I can make it better. Maybe I can make it myself and it's healthier. Or go to my farmer's market or demand access to healthier things.
That's what came to
Our
mind too.
voice.
You know, when story time. Sorry, I'm going to digress for a minute, guys.
Yeah, please. Mercury
But
tells a story.
yeah, my husband worked at a 7-Eleven for a while in our town. And he said, it was just remarkable and it was sort of heartbreaking because people would come in there, they'd get out of their shift at, one of the local industries here, bring in their food stamps and buy such food that was available. And he said it was just heartbreaking, really, that is that there's nothing healthy in this store.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
there's nothing healthy in this store, but because they could make like one stop on the way home,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to get gas and I'm going to get, that I don't want to go all the way through a whole grocery store to
Yep.
do that. I'm just going to make it quick. But why isn't there more healthy options available in smaller, more convenient places?
Yep.
In England, there are little grocery stores
It
everywhere that
is.
have actual groceries.
Yeah.
Here, you've got to be close to a suburb to go to a big
Yeah.
thing.
See, and I think part of the transformation process is the demand for that accessibility,
I
right?
think that's it too, that people
Yeah.
kind of have to notice that what they're eating is not actually healthy for them
Right.
and and demand something better. First, believe that they deserve something better,
Yes.
and then maybe take action to demand it somehow, just to say,
Mhm.
no, we really want better for ourselves.
And Uranus in Taurus supports that too, because Taurus is about your own personal values. What do I value within me that demands revolution? I value in me my own health, my well-being, and all of that. And wait a minute, stop poisoning our food. Enough, you
Yeah.
know. And I there. Mercury in Scorpio is going to give us some voice in that. I want change. I want transformation, you know?
And again, I'm going to harp on it again, but I'll go with Uranus. I want my own voice, damn it.
Yes.
I want to be able to say what is good for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to determine my own body's
Right.
needs.
Right.
I don't want you to tell me what I can eat, what I can wear, what I can and cannot do, when I can and cannot see a doctor.
Yep.
I don't want you to tell me all that shit. I want to be able to decide I want my own voice. Be a voice.
Well, and I still think Mercury, Mars being in Cancer, again, helps us tap into the ancestral connection. What was good for my ancestry? What was it that my heritage and my mother, my grandmother, my whatever, however that came through
Something about bloodlines with Mars there. Yes.
yeah, or
Yes.
your village ancestors. It doesn't have to be your direct biological connection. It could be
Yes.
the village ancestry. What was it that, because again, this is a collective too. It's not just Julie and Maria's, it's the collective ancestry. What was it that
Mm.
allowed for us to use the herbal medicines, to use the fresh food? When I was sick, my grandmother made a little chicken soup dish that was inherent to our cultural upbringing,
That's right.
those kinds of things rather than run out and go get your, NyQuil. No,
Hmm.
I would rather not put a chemical in my body. I'd rather have that fresh food my grandmother made.
Yeah.
So just connecting to that and taking the action to keep asking those questions. Um, the other
So there,
remarkable thing, well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so there we have it. Moon square sun. There's a lot to challenge here. Like, all right, because we've just gotten access to so many deeply held beliefs and thoughts that maybe we didn't even know we had or had sort of backburnered, but now are like moving up to the front because they've suddenly become important. And then here's the sun going, all right, what action are you going to start taking now?
And Mercury and Scorpio can help us have those deep conversations with a sense of vulnerability. Hey, I really want to know what you believe. Can you tell me why you believe that? Can you tell me, and I'm going to hold space for you to do that. And I think we haven't been able to do that in the last several years. I think now it's like, I may not agree. I may be on a different side. I may be whatever, but how can we have that deep conversation where we can be the string? I go back to that with Pisces. The polarities of Pisces, that string in the middle, creates a dynamic tension between the polarities, but that has to be in balance for us to really understand that commonality. I think that's super important. Um, but the other one that kind of was remarkable was this Vesta conjunct the South Node. And, Vesta's
Okay.
energy kind of aligns with Virgo. It's, about that discernment of detail, the perfectionistic, creating these improved things, but it's also about being in service. And where we can get into trouble with Vesta is if it's not in a balanced energy, you can over serve to your own detriment, right?
Yes, you can neglect your own self-care. You might think that you live to serve.
Mm-hmm.
That you're there only for serving, and you gotta you have to withdraw sometime. You have to take care of yourself sometime.
Well, and
Areas,
self-knowledge,
yeah,
familiarity.
and areas in which we haven't been doing that will probably come up.
Well, North Node in Pisces. How do you do it in a way with compassion? You can serve yourself and help hold some self-compassion for what you need to do to take care of you.
Well,
You know,
isn't that just sort of the answer to everything right now
it
is
really is.
yeah, just compassion,
Mm-hmm.
compassion and flow.
Yes. Yep. Well, and Chiron in Pisces too. We take on all of the suffering around us, right? It's like when the world is in pain, we all feel it when Chiron's in Pisces. The question becomes, how do I create my own sovereign bubble where I don't take it all on? I can still see it. I can still have compassion for it. I can have empathy for it, but I don't have to own it as my own. I have to take care of me.
And we don't have to think that is the way it is either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else jumping out?
You
We're
know,
at about 34, well, about 40 minutes now. So
I think that's probably enough
yeah,
for
I think
enough of
so.
us tonight. They've all got better things to do.
Well, maybe not.
But yeah, it's this square is a big one. There's
Hmm.
going to be a lot to process because we took an emotional hit
Yeah,
one way or another,
yeah,
right? Like one way or another, there was an emotional jarring this week.
yeah.
And the sun has some, you know, processing to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I think
that's
this
okay.
whole lunar transit is a big one.
Yeah.
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 So
I
just be
mean,
kind to yourselves.
yeah, for people who got sort of the upside of that emotional hit, how about the ones who didn't?
Yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
have some compassion. Have some compassion for yourself. Have some, and for those who took the downside of the emotional hit, don't hate the ones who are happy. Maybe ride that a little bit. Maybe just you know, okay, I'm not so thrilled, but I'm happy that you're happy,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that can be enough
Yeah,
for a minute or two.
yeah. And again, on the flip side, I hold space for the fact that this was very difficult for you. And I'm
Yes.
here to hear you, and just
Hmm.
offer that hand of kindness. Be the string. That has been my
Yep.
mantra all year. Be the string. I even shared that with somebody else today. And it's just when I get into that emotional swing, and really this moon in Capricorn really helps with this too, is step back for a minute. Am I going to respond from the position of being the string? But don't tamp down your emotions. You need to express them or you will become diseased, right? But do it in a way that's a healthful, channeled expression of that energy. It's like, okay, I'm going to explode here. I need to tell you, I got to let it out. I got to let it out, but I'm not aiming at you. I got to let it out.
Yeah, that's exact. Yes, yeah. I just have
Okay.
to, I need to do the horn goat thing and just butt my head on a rock for a second, and then I'll feel better. I'll be all right.
God,
Yeah.
the image that brought up. It's like, ow,
Yeah.
ow.
But yeah, we've sometimes you sort of have to do that. Have the
Yep,
momentary temper tantrum,
yeah,
have the momentary release, have the
yep,
momentary meltdown.
yep,
And Capricorn likes its alone time, partly because it needs to do that,
yep, yep.
right?
And then dial it back in,
Yeah,
right?
it is not going to want to be forced to express its emotions
Yes.
in public. It's going to want to control how it expresses its emotions in private.
And the
Keep-
key to the challenge on that, though, is to let it out. Capricorn
Yeah,
moon can also be the one that holds it in, holds it in, holds it in, and then explodes.
yep.
Don't do that.
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it out somehow.
Yep. Yep. That means you go get yourself a damn it doll. If you don't know what that is, I'll tell you at some point. If you got to go, just stomp your feet and yell, punch a pillow. Um,
Whack the pillow.
Yeah, or be sad. Have a cry jag, whatever it
Yes.
happens to be,
Hmm.
then do it and let it out. And then that Capricorn moon can go, okay, now I can climb the mountain again.
Yes. All right.
Yep. All right, my dear friends, be well. We'll do this again probably in a couple of weeks when we get that third quarter moon. In the meantime, just ride the wave. And if you're joining us on replay, welcome, welcome. And just check the description box below the video. There's all of our details. But again, Julie Sherwood, Your Best Hopes Wellness Coaching, yourbesthopeswc.com. And
Beyond at venus13.com, venus-13.com. And look out for all of those excellent full moon videos that are about to pop because this full
yep,
moon is extra.
yep.
This full moon really is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If you go to Radical Astrology on Facebook or Cosmic Reflections on Facebook, there's a number of our fellow colleagues that post all sorts of videos, either there or on their YouTube channels. So you can follow up there, and there's some wonderful colleagues of ours that put some great stuff out there.
oh
So,
yeah.
all right, my friends, good to see you all, and we're going to disconnect and catch you on the next one.